What if I were to tell you that positive thinking is harming you more than you might imagine? Now, I know what you're thinking. Daniel, there's so much talk about looking at things on the bright side and think about the positive. Are you saying we should think about things negatively? Well, it's actually one other component. Instead of me telling you, I'm going to let Dr. Daniel Amen, psychiatrist, explain. Check this out.
I'm a psychiatrist and I don't believe in positive thinking. I believe in accurate thinking with a positive spin, but unbridled positive thinking means you can have the third piece of cheesecake and it won't hurt you. You need some anxiety so you make good decisions.
So, as perfectly put as Dr. Amen just said, we can see the problem with positive thinking. Because when we say positive, we can put a positive spin on anything. You could be unfaithful to your romantic partner and say, well, the reason I did it is because I care about her feelings. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings, so I went behind her back to be unfaithful. Because that's how considerate and thoughtful I am. So very quickly we realize that we can use positive thinking as a disguise, as an umbrella, to get away with certain things that frankly are not healthy. In the example that Dr. Amen used, he talked about donut and he talked about food, and it's a very controversial topic, and it's a very polarizing topic when we get to body positivity and the plus size models on those magazine covers. And the irony of it is when we look at people like Carl Rogers and therapists who emphasize positivity and who really talked about the importance of acceptance, here's the strange thing. Acceptance didn't mean let's stay the way that I am. But Dr. Carl Rogers believed acceptance was the first step in changing yourself. You first have to accept what's in front of you before we can move forward. So we recognize that positivity has a role to play. However, if I'm looking at a situation, maybe I'm not the most attractive guy, maybe I'm not the most fit, maybe I didn't go to university, maybe I'm 40 and I still live at home. But that's not a bad thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And I try to find the positive. Folks, what am I doing? I'm thinking positively, but am I not harming myself in the future? So instead, what we want to replace this with is accurate thinking. And accurate thinking tries to be, now, it might not be realistic to say unbiased, but at the very least to be aware of our biases. Like, I'm biased. I love eating whatever it is for you. Donuts, Nutella, chips, fries. I'm not going to lie to myself. But I'll think accurately and go, I love donuts. I'm going to have a donut today. Fair enough. But do you folks see how that's different from saying, I can eat as many donuts as I want and there's nothing wrong with that because donuts are delicious and I'm a human being and I only live once and blah, 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 blah. So it's very, very easy to cross that line between positive thinking and, quite frankly, harmful thinking, where maybe we shouldn't see the bright side of everything. One thing that I'd recommend that has been very useful to me in thinking about this discussion has been considering things, whether they are opinions or whether they're factual. So if I'm eating something that may or may not be healthy, if I'm engaging in an activity that may or may not be good for me, I like to think, well, I'm doing X. Let's say I'm smoking my vape. Smoking, there's nothing wrong with having fun every once in a while. It's like, okay, what does having fun mean? Because for some it means reading their favorite book. For some it means smoking their vape pen. For some it means staying up until 3 a.m. Are those things equal? Is it okay to smoke every once in a while? Am I being accurate and honest with myself? And if the answer is, look, I know it's not healthy, but I want to do it anyways, fair enough. That's another story for another day. As long as the key word here is we're being honest with ourselves. You know, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And if I continue to do this 5 years down the line, 3 days a week, every single week for the next 5 years, I'm only going to be in worse shape than I am right now. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm going to live with that. That is at least more aware and more honest with yourself than someone who says, ignorance is bliss. It makes me happy. So what? What's wrong with having fun every once in a while? It's like, well, what do you mean by fun exactly? What are you doing to yourself under the guise of fun? So this isn't to say don't engage in pleasure or don't smoke or do smoke. That's not what this video is about. But this is about looking at honesty and looking at accuracy, whether we're thinking about ourselves or our friends. If your friend, if your loved one is engaging in something that you believe to be harmful, and you feel it's your place to say something, or they ask you for your opinion, think about what sounds positive and think about what sounds accurate. And really take a step back and think, if I care for my friends, my mother's, my girlfriend's, my cousin's well-being, what am I going to say? And with that little tidbit, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.